So, tonight's topic is about the lost art of sucking up. So, kids these days don't know how much sucking up will help your everyday life. So, every time I get pulled over by a cop or something like this, I'm just like, "Hello, sir. How can I help you?" And they're like, your taillight was out. And they never give me any trouble. But I know people that are like, "Hey." And I'm like, what the heck are you doing? I just can't understand why people would live their lives this way. I understood it from a very early age. My mother, she was pregnant with my sister, and I went up to her and I was like, "Ma, how'd you get so fat?" And then I could see that she was a little bit upset. And so I turned around the corner and I'm like, "But you're beautiful." You gotta know that if your mother's happy, then everybody's happy in your life. So when you get to school, it's not bad to brown nose just a little bit. But you don't want to be one of those people that just repeats what the teacher says. We had this one guy. He was in my high school U.S. history class, and he'd be like, Lyndon B. Johnson, the teacher would be like, he had a podium. He'd be like, "Lyndon B. Johnson's Great Society was a great advancement in civil rights and economic policy for America." And then the student would be like, "Mr. Garish, would you say that the Great Society was a great time for civil rights and economic policy in America?" You don't want to be that guy. That just doesn't get you anywhere. Everyone is not going to like you if you're that guy. That's just not a good thing. So, you want to just be subtle about it. You want to be one of those people that's like, you just ask if you can, help set up the chairs or something like that. It's really not that big of a deal, And when you get to the age where you're working, your co-workers are going to hate you when you're one of the people that, your boss likes. You're going to get a lot of these. Everybody's nose itches as soon as you need something from your boss. And you're like, "Oh yeah, I totally didn't catch that." Or they'll have to adjust their glasses and you're like, "Come on, dude." I can't help it if I'm just awesome. I can't help it if I'm awesome. Okay, I got to do an aside for a second. One of my favorite movies, I'll sit down for this portion. One of my favorite movies growing up, I watch this all the time, Wizard of Oz. I watch it as an adult, and two things struck me. That scene at the beginning where Dorothy's running away. First of all, why weren't they looking for her? That isn't normal. Maybe in Kansas in the 1930s or the 19-teens or whenever that book was written, they just didn't look for kids that were running away. But in today's day and age, there would have been an Amber Alert or something. But then they go and they show up, and there's the creepy old guy with, they're looking in the crystal ball. And that whole interaction between the two was just very strange. And I'm watching it, and I'm just like, they really found this normal back in the 1940s. I was just really perplexed by that little scene. When you watch The Wizard of Oz next time, pay very careful attention to that scene. But my favorite part from that beginning part is when she says, "Well, I'll bite you myself." And the other part is when they go to Oz. They're all singing and dancing and stuff like that. What do they actually do for work? They're just, they're having a good time and everything. but it doesn't seem like they get very much done there in Oz. Like, and do they just stay there all the time? Like, do they go outside and like, I don't really understand. And I'm not gonna go into the red brick road idea, that's just kind of a lame thing. So, anyways, sucking up. Now, sucking up isn't always, oh, I'll stand back. We are doing stand-up, by the way. So, there are times where you can try to suck up, but things don't exactly go your way. I tried to suck up to my chemistry teacher, but her daughter was in my class, and I like to pick on her daughter. And I would sit behind her daughter in class, me and my friend Sean, and we would just say, she was an, the horse people, is that an equestrian? Is that an equestrian? Yeah, we would just be like, I hate horses. Like, I hate horses. Like during the middle of class, I hate horses. And we would just keep getting louder and louder. And then she would just turn around, I can hear you, Jeff. And so her mother wasn't fine to me when we were in the class. Outside of the class, she was great. And so my friend Sean made a challenge to me. I bet you can't get called out, or you can't go not getting called out by this teacher for the rest of the year. And I kept my mouth shut, which, if you know me, is a very, very hard task. And we got up to Regents Week. We're taking a practice Regents. And I look on, I open up the sheet, and there's a picture of a thermometer. And it says, how many degrees does it show on this thermometer? I turn to the teacher and I'm like, teacher, what kind of a question is this? And she turns to me, Jeff, what kind of a student are you? No! My streak is over! I couldn't handle it. So, I was with a buddy the other day. I was driving in the passenger seat. We get pulled over by the cops. He rolls down his window. Cop says license and registration. He said, what's the problem? I'm like, thanks for being here. Yeah!